welcome to Dirt to Delicious, and I'm Miss Ellen, and today we're going to talk about beets. I have beet seeds here, and we're going to plant some beet seeds. It's good to plant them early spring. They can withstand frost, so you can plant them early spring. The seeds are actually dried up little fruits, and in each seed is actually 4 or 5 seeds. So you do want to spread these out. And what you do is you make a trench in your soil, and you want to make sure your soil is loose. You only need to bury the seed about a ½ inch. So as they start growing, about 2 inches tall, you want to thin them out, and you can retransplant them in other areas of your garden. You know, a trench is, depending on how many seeds or beet plants you want, and cover it up lightly. And then for the first probably 5 days, you want to water it almost every day or as much as you can and keep the soil really moist. So these beets I just put in the ground, seeds, are candy cane beets. You do, probably for pickling, which we are going to do later on, you do want to use the dark red beets, but for our purposes, this is what I have. I have these candy cane beets. They will work just as well. You want the beet to grow probably 2 inches, and then you want to start thinning it out. The leaves will grow up to this point, 2 inches, and then you start thinning them out, and then you can transplant them. And then you want to space them out maybe 3 to 4 inches apart. But when you see the shoulder peeking out, as this one is, and it's about 2 inches wide, that's when it's time to pick it. So you just pull it out by its base here of the leaves, and that is your beet. Just beat it like Michael Jackson says. And that just gets the loose soil off of it. And also you can store these in a cool space, dark, cool place with just the dirt. Beat it off. You don't want to clean them because that's actually holding it for preservation when you don't actually wash it. So we're going to gather up all these beets here as much as we can because we're going to make pickled eggs, beet pickled eggs with them. And another thing about beets is they have a lot of nutritional value. If you do eat them raw, or you can make beet juice out of them, they are high in nitrates. But the nitrates, which are not synthetic nitrates that are in hot dogs, but natural nitrates, they go into your body when you eat them, and it acts as a vasodilator, which opens up your vessels, and you can have better athletic performance, and it lowers your blood pressure. And when you do cook them, you lose some nutritional value, but you can. It is good to just have beets all together, whether you cook them or just eat them raw or have beet juice. So all you have to do is eat beets. You don't have to eat pills for high blood pressure. You have to water this. I'm not really getting a good line here, but keep them really moist. At least the first few days, you want to try to get to your garden as much as possible and water them really good. And with beets, you can them, freeze them, pickle them, and roast them. And they can be stored up to 3 to 4 months in a cool place, a dark, cool place. So they are very, very good, a very good vegetable to have. So that's probably as much as you want to water. Carrot stew, it's my favorite thing to do. Cook up a pot and a carrot or two, and cook up some carrot stew. Is that a good song? We have our beets here. We are gonna make red beet eggs, pickled eggs. These are just different names of calling them. Beet pickled eggs, or just people in my family just call them eggs. I thought hard-boiled eggs were all purple. I didn't know that people ate hard-boiled white eggs. So we have beets, eggs, apple cider vinegar, sugar, and the container we're gonna put them in. And then we're gonna put that in the refrigerator. So we're gonna take our beets that we got from the garden, and these are the actual root of the plant. You can eat the green of the beet, and we can talk about that later on, but we're gonna cook the root of the plant, which is the beet. So we have to scrub them down really good, and then I have a secret method to show you on how to get the skin off without using a potato peeler. So we're gonna cut right here at the shoulder. And if you know somebody that eats beet greens, then you can give that to them, which I would take this and put them all in a bag and stick them on my neighbor's doorknob, and she loved it, because I don't want those. I just want the beet part. And I'm gonna put these beets in this pan here, and I washed them as best as I could, but we're gonna take that skin off. And the juice that we're gonna cook this in, we're not gonna keep. There's 2 cycles of cooking beets. So you cook it on high, boil it for 20 minutes. All right, we need to hard boil these eggs, and after we do that, we're gonna take the shell off. Because if you don't take the shell off, what you end up with is just Easter eggs, and we don't want that. So what you wanna do with your eggs, and this is how you get the shell off, hopefully, you hard boil it, You want it at a really good boil, and once you see that it's boiling really hard, if you question that it's boiling, it's probably not boiling. So just wait till you get a hard rolling boil. And then once it gets to a hard rolling boil, you turn off the stove, and then you put the lid on, and then you walk away. Once the eggs are done with their hard boil and their resting period in the pan with the lid on, we're gonna crack the shell, and we're gonna put them in this ice water. All right, these have been sitting there with the cover on. They're very hot. Don't do this at home. This is really hot boiling water. I'm gonna put that in the ice water now. Okay, hot egg, hot egg. All right, we're gonna let them in there to cool off, and then you're gonna crack them all around. And then you're gonna put them back in that water. And this is ice cold water. So we're gonna crack them all around, put them in the water. And this is because the water will get underneath the shell and it'll be easier for you to peel off. And do not buy the pre-peeled eggs that are in the stores. I don't know how. They probably dissolved the shell off with some chemical or something. So see how easily that's coming off? It's because of the way you boil it and the ice water and the cracking it around and letting it soak in the water. There is imperfections, you know, because look, don't just ignore that. You can still eat that. It's going to soak in the beet juice and be just fine. The older the egg, the easier it is to peel. But if you only have freshly bought eggs with the expiration date is still good in it, then you're fine too. Eggs can last a long time in the refrigerator and a certain amount of time just on the counter. All right, so all these are all the shells are off, and these shells will then be taken back to the garden for the compost bin. All right, we're gonna put our eggs, make sure all the shells are off. We're gonna put them in our jar. You can put them in a container. It doesn't have to be a glass jar to pickle the eggs. They're just refrigerator pickled eggs. So these, and I think there were 6 of them there. And we are just putting these on standby. Our beets are done. They were boiling for about 20 minutes and it softened the skin on them. And we are going to take the skin off of them. I'm going to drain this water off because this is dirty water. This has had all that dirt from the skin. Because we're going to reboil the beets and get our beet juice. I'm going to put cold water in here so you have the beets just to chill them down so that way we can handle them because they're hot. Okay, and this is how you get the skin off. So we cut it off there at the shoulder, and then you just squeeze it. And there the skin comes right off. And sometimes if you get a nicely shaped beet, you can squeeze it and it will shoot up. And these are not really red beets, but we will boil them again and get the nice purple beet juice. And that's the juice we're going to use in our pickled eggs. If you want really dark beets, which these aren't the kind that you would get really dark beet juice, but you want to use Detroit red beets from the garden. But these are just the ones I brought from the garden. They'll work. They'll work for the purposes. And I can add really red beets to it later on. So we're going to put these in the pan. I already put water in the pan. And then we're going to cook them again to get more of the beet juice out. So all that dirty skin and everything's off, and now this is clean beet juice with the beets. So we're going to heat the stuff up again, the water and the beets again. And while that's cooking down, it's drawing more beet juice out of the beets. So that is cooking. We're going to add the vinegar. And we're going to add the sugar to this juice and the beets. And that's all going to dissolve. Basically what this step is just dissolving the sugar with the vinegar and the water and cooking the beets down to get more of a red beet coloring to our juice. And you do that maybe for 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes, because the beets are already cooked, so we're just dissolving the sugar. All right, our beet juice is done. We're gonna take it out of here and put it in there. Okay, here they go into the jar. Big yummy juicy beets right in that jar with the eggs. They're a pretty color. And you can cut these down too. Let me know when you're ready. All right, we're gonna put this beet juice in here. It's as best as I can. And you're covering the eggs, because the important part is to make the eggs purple. So we're gonna seal that up. And there is how you make beet pickled eggs. These will be ready in 2 to 3 days, and they will last for a few weeks in the refrigerator once they're ready. So we're gonna put this in the refrigerator in the top shelf on the front.